Morgan, I'm assuming that all of my things have made it to your house by now, right?
Yeah, the moving truck was just here and they helped me get all of the boxes out and they unloaded them into the garage. But I thought you would have sent me more boxes than this, to be honest. I was really expecting that you'd have a full truckload of stuff.
Well, it's just the things that I really needed to bring that's in those boxes. I sold most of my things before I packed up. I'll be moving into your huge house, so there's no need for any of my old and worn-down furniture, right? So anything I thought that wouldn't match your house, I either sold or got rid of. All for the sake of keeping you both happy.
Well, that was really nice of you to do. And we wouldn't have really had any room for all of the extra furniture anyway. Wade and I actually thought about having it all put into a storage unit or something. So you saved us on that. And you even earned yourself a little bit of extra cash. Sounds great. By the way, Chrissy, where are you now? I thought you would be over here this morning, but you're not. So I was just wondering. And all of your things are here now as well. Shouldn't you be here unpacking? I mean, I guess I can get started on some of it for you. But I don't want to be a snoop looking through all of your belongings.
Oh, something really important came up, but it's fine now. I took care of it already, so I'll be heading over there now.
Oh, okay then. I hope whatever it was easy to take care of. Well, anyway, let's have fun getting all your things organized and out of their boxes today. And if you want, I can go out to get you some paint for you if you'd like to paint your room in a much more Chrissy-like color.
Well, you'll be the only one having any fun around here.
What's wrong? Why would you say that?
Look, I'm not excited like you to be moving into your house, okay? Why do I have to move in with my son and his ugly wife? How do you call that fun?
Everything will be fine, Chrissy. And what does ugly have to do with anything? People always say you get used to living with people in a few days. I'm sure you're just a little upset that you had to move out of that old house.
Well, I'm never going to get used to being around that gross face of yours. I'll have to make sure to not even look at you for the first few days, or I'll get sick.
Okay, well, that's nice of you to say. Anyway, the three of us are all going to be living together, whether we all like it or not. And since we'll be under the same roof, you'll have to talk to me and look at me. If I'm too ugly for you, then I'm sorry. I think you'll learn to like me for who I am eventually, and maybe we can even become good friends.
Don't be stupid. That'll never happen.
Anyway, I had really bad acne while growing up, so that's what that did to my face. I told Wade all about how bad it was in high school, and he didn't seem to think that it made me ugly. I just hope you won't either.
Well, unlike you, I'm a very attractive woman who has no desire to become good friends with an ugly pig like you. And I'm sure he only said that to make you feel good about yourself.
Okay, well, are you sure you're that attractive yourself?
You've seen me many times already, so you should know that I'm drop-dead gorgeous.
Wow. Is that how you would describe yourself?
Even a girl as gross as you should know what true beauty looks like.
I'm sorry, but I never really cared for how you looked. I always just assumed you looked like any other grandma out there. Maybe you are talking about your younger days, when you were a bit thinner and feminine looking? I've never seen pictures of you when you were younger either, so I'm not really sure if you say you're as good as you say you were back then. For all I know, you might have been even heavier set back then and with acne just as bad as mine.
Do you think you're being funny, Morgan? I'm telling you right now that I still look great. People say I'm ageless.
Really? Well, I guess I just have bad eyesight then.
Excuse me. Are you making fun of me?
Well, I'm just saying that if you think you look good, then I guess I've been seeing you differently than everyone else. But either way, I don't see how good looking we are has anything to do with how well we'll get along. But hopefully after a few days, we can stop this nonsense and start to build a good relationship with one another. I know that that's what Wade would want from us anyway.
Morgan, you need to stop screwing around right now.
Me? I'm not screwing around. Well, I'm just being myself is all. And if anything, you're the one who's been calling me out for my looks, so I thought the way we could talk to each other was pretty fair.
I don't know why, but for some reason talking to you is making my blood pressure shoot up.
Are you going to be okay? I know that you are getting into your later years, so you need to make sure you take care of yourself better.
Are you seriously this rude around people? I'm still only 58, and that is still very young. I look much younger than my age, too.
Well, if that's the case, then thank goodness. If you think your body is healthy and young, then there's no need for me to worry about your health.
You really love speaking your mind, huh?
Well, I just want to make sure that you understand my personality better. We have to live together now, so understanding one another is really important. If I were to hold back all of my thoughts from you, then we'd never be able to get along, right? I'd have to keep myself quiet and make sure that only you got to say how you felt. And that just doesn't sit right with me.
But you're my son's wife, and you need to shut up and be quiet when talking to me. Show a little more respect while you're at it. And if you can't do that, I think there's going to be some problems.
But I haven't been rude to you or anything. I'm just talking to you like a normal person should. And everything I've said has either been the truth or just my opinion.
Of course. I should have known that trying to talk to you for this long would lead to me getting pretty upset.
Are you really going to be okay then? Maybe you should just calm down a bit. You'll make yourself sick from getting all worked up over nothing like that.
And whose fault do you think that is? I'm not the one trying to start a fight with her mother-in-law who is about to be living in the same house as them. And if you want me to calm down, you're going to have to do me a favor.
And what's that?
In the mornings, I really love having this specific type of ciabatta bread for breakfast. I've had it for breakfast every single day for the last 10 years. It's my favorite go-to breakfast, and I like to have it toasted with a touch of garlic butter.
That's pretty specific, but wow. Okay.
And now that I'll be living with you at your house, I expect you to have it there every day. So, Morgan, do me a great favor in getting me some of that ciabatta bread, please. Okay?
You want me to get you ciabatta bread? Right now? Or you mean for another day?
You think I can wait until you feel like getting it for me? Of course, I mean now. And get me plenty to last me for the rest of the week. Do you even know where to get good ciabatta bread in this city?
No, I've never even seen it anywhere being sold. And I usually don't eat anything specific in the morning besides what we have in the fridge.
That's what I thought. You never seem like the kind of person with a good and healthy routine. And by the way, why are you still making such snarky comments towards everything I say?
Oh, I wasn't trying to. But thinking that you eat ciabatta bread every day for breakfast just seems a little odd to me. Wade has never even told me this about you. And why is ciabatta bread the one you specifically like to have for breakfast? Isn't it more like for open sandwiches? So I just don't see it being that great on its own.
What's it to you if I like it or not? And if you never heard about how much I love this bread, then maybe you need to start paying more attention to what me and my son talk about. You should know the things I like and whatnot anyway.
Well, I guess I could try. Although I'm not usually that thorough when it comes to caring for other people's needs.
Why do you even think saying things like that is a good thing? Nobody wants a wife who doesn't care about others.
Well then, I guess from now on I'll start paying more attention to you. I'll go and get that ciabatta bread for you now.
Go and find a bakery called Breadwinners. That's the store that I get this bread from. It's always really packed because of how popular it is. So you should get there early so that you can get my ciabatta bread before it's sold out. And you'll have to get this bread every week for me, because I hate standing in long lines.
Ah, now I see why Wade hates to line up for things now. Like mother, like son, huh?
It looks like we're poor standing and waiting in long lines just for food, doesn't it? Wade and I aren't poor, okay?
I've never heard of anyone saying that standing in line is such a bad thing. But if you think of it as a waste of time, then I get your point.
Well, if you want to have a good relationship with me living around you guys, then you need to start doing these sorts of things for me. And getting that bread for me is a good start, okay? And now that I think about it, I want you to get it at 5 a.m. when they start opening.
What? They open at 5 a.m.?
Yep. All great bakeries start preparing for kneading their dough before sunrise. So remember that.
But going all the way to that bakery you mentioned at 5 a.m. seems a bit extreme. I just looked it up, and that bakery is pretty far from our house as it is. How about I just buy a week's worth of it and put the rest of it into the freezer so that it still stays really good for you when you eat it?
Don't you realize that goes against the meaning of having it fresh? Putting it into the freezer will just make it get all hard and horrible to eat. No, it has to be fresh.
But we put all our bread in the freezer and it always comes out delicious when we have it.
Well, you might like it, but I don't want that. I will never eat anything that comes out of the freezer unless it's ice cream.
Chrissy, you're being a bit extreme about how much you want everything to revolve around you in our house.
Excuse me. Would you like to say that to me again?
Sure. I said that you must be pretty selfish with the way you want everything done your way.
I just told you this, Morgan.
And what was that?
A good wife should never talk back to anyone, especially to her mother-in-law. And going against my word is even worse.
Well, I'm not really going against what you're asking for right now. All I'm saying here is that if we plan to live together for the time being, we both need to be able to express our opinions without hesitating. If we have to hold back how we really feel, that will create a very bad atmosphere in the house. All I want is for us to get along, right? Don't you?
But it's your #1 job to keep your opinions and ideas to yourself as my son's wife. And that should go for all wives, actually. Get it into your head that what I'm telling you are all facts and that you need to learn your place.
But that's not going to work for me, Chrissy. I need to speak my mind, and that's the way I want to be. And you don't need to hold anything back either, and you can just tell me anything, okay? It'll make life a whole lot less stressful for us, and you'll soon start to learn just how nice life can be when you aren't so angry all the time.
I'm the mother of the house, so why should I hold anything back? Of course I won't.
I guess you have that right. And that's why I also won't stress myself out to keep all of my opinions and thoughts to myself either.
You really have no filter to what comes out of that mouth, do you?
Because that's just the kind of straightforward wife I am.
Jeez, for Pete's sake! I'm done with you. I don't have time to deal with this anymore. Hurry up and get a move on. My bread will be sold out by the time you get there at this rate. If it does sell out before you get there, how do you think things might go between us then? Huh?
Well, if that happens, then you're just going to have to eat a different type of bread tomorrow morning.
I will definitely not.
And this is what I meant by you being selfish and self-centered.
Shut up, Morgan! I want you to get out of that house right now and get me my bread.
Fine. I'll be heading out now, okay?
Jeez. I can't believe this simple conversation turned into all of this just because you couldn't keep your mouth shut. What's worse than the fact that you're ugly is the fact that you can't even act like a proper wife.
Chrissy! What's going on here?
What?
Well, I just got back from going out to buy you your ciabatta bread, Chrissy, so I hope you're happy with that.
Okay, great. Leave it on the kitchen table then.
Well, I just got to the front door and all of my clothes are stuffed into a suitcase and it's laying here on the front porch. What the heck is going on? Chrissy, you're inside the house, right?
Oh, that's right. Those are all of your nicest clothes that I've gotten together and bagged up for you. Don't worry. Since you went out and got me that bread and did me a favor, I took care of you too.
I really have no idea what you're on about right now. Why are my things out here? Can you let me inside? Why is the door locked? I can't get into the house, so I'd appreciate it if you could come and open it. I even rang the doorbell a few times, but you never heard it ringing, I guess.
Ah, Well, I was just a little worried that it was someone trying to break into this house. Okay, so now that you know I'm not here to rob you, can you come let me in then? I'd never let some crazy stranger into my son's house, though.
What the hell are you talking about?
So it's me! Let me in! But you're a stranger to me! You see, I had really thought things through. I just don't think I'll be able to live in the same house with an ugly woman like you. And I made sure that before you came back to the house, I changed the locks then.
What? You did? When did you plan all of that?
OMG, does Wade know about this? Well, I had to do it while you were gone, didn't I? So I had to make sure I planned it carefully and get it done, and now it has. Perfect! You can leave the bread there. Thanks.
OMG, Chrissy. This has got to be a joke.
By the way, I made him file the divorce papers.
You did what now?
You're going to be served with them. Are you really that clueless as to what is going on here? I had to make sure that I got everything on my end taken care of before coming here.
Chrissy, are you planning to divorce someone? Because I thought that Richard passed away and you weren't seeing anyone. So there's no reason for you to be getting a divorce now, right? I'm not following anything here.
Are you seriously that stupid to not understand what I'm telling you right now?
Well, maybe you could just tell me straight instead of beating around the bush.
You're going to divorce my son. Understood?
What?
No! That's not happening. I always knew that he deserved someone better than you. Someone more decent, nicer, more beautiful, easier on the eyes, and I could go on with a whole list. So I made sure to give you the gift of a divorce.
But I never filled out any paperwork. Or at least I don't remember doing it.
Of course you didn't. Then who the heck filled it out instead of me? Me! I was the one who filled them all out and signed your signature on the papers.
You forged my signature? You know you can't do that, right? That's illegal, and you've crossed the line here.
I really wanted to expedite the process by skipping the whole conversation with you. I know Wade wouldn't have minded either. So I signed the papers and had one of my friends stand in as a witness saying you signed them. It was pretty easy, and I don't know why the officials didn't check. I mean, it's a good thing they didn't, but yeah, it was easy as that.
You have to slow down a second here, Chrissy. I've only been married to Wade for a week now. And yesterday, Wade and I only just got back from our honeymoon vacation.
Well, sometimes it's best to hurry up and get all the hard parts over with, right? The quicker the better.
How the hell did you pull this off? Are you really doing all this because you hate me that much?
Well, unlike you, Wade and I are a whole world above you, and I never wanted him marrying a stupid girl like you in the first place. So getting rid of you for him is the best thing I've ever done to help him and his future.
But you went behind both of our backs to do something that surely isn't allowed. You're going to get caught, and Wade's not going to be happy about this either.
Of course he will. He was the one that signed his half of the documents while we were at the office.
Are you kidding me? There's no way he'd agree to this.
Why would I ever have a reason to lie to you about this, though? I'm sure he never wanted to tell you his true feelings because of all the drama it could cause, right?
But no. That's bogus. I just can't believe he'd go behind my back and work with you to get all of that paperwork handed in.
Well, this is just the way things had to be, Morgan.
I just try to call him and he won't even pick it up. And he hasn't even read any of my messages that I've been sending him. He should be in the house with you right now, right?
Well, he told me that he was so tired out from dealing with you on the honeymoon trip that he passed out on the couch a while ago.
He went to sleep?
You must have really taken advantage of him on that trip, huh? I've never seen my boy this tired out before.
He was the one who had all sorts of things he wanted to do on our honeymoon, Chrissy. And screw him! Go and wake him up for me. I want to hear from him why he thinks we should already be getting divorced.
I don't think you really have to worry about what he thinks anymore. If he was willing to sign the divorce papers with me, then that must mean he agrees with me on why you need to go. I'm sure you just want to ask him if he really wants you to go, right?
Not even just that. But I want to know why he even married me in the first place then. You go tell him to answer my phone calls right now.
Well, we've already handed everything in, so to him, you are just another crazy nobody that he wants nothing to do with. So you don't need to worry about him either anymore, because I'll be around to take good care of him.
Does Wade really not have a problem with any of this?
Well, of course he doesn't. He would never go against what I say, and he always lets me have my way anyway.
It's hard for me to believe that before we got married, I always thought of you as a really nice person, you know. But for you to do a 180 like this, I don't believe it.
Well, I'm so sorry, Morgan, but Wade is just the type to care about his mother first before anyone else.
I always knew that when the family lacks a father figure, the kids become super attached to their mother. But this is all on another level then. He really is the mama's boy of all mama's boys, huh?
You're not going to call my boy any names here now. I guess I was smart for turning in your guys' divorce papers as soon as I could.
But the fact that he never even spoke to me about wanting a divorce and just following your wishes is frickin' childish. I can't call him anything other than a stupid mama's boy.
So that's how you must have really felt about Wade then, huh? It was so obvious that the two of you were never going to last very long together. I'd take those bags that I packed up all nicely for you and find a new place to live soon.
Fine. Will do then.
Morgan!
Ah, well, if it isn't Wade's selfish and horrible mother. I thought you didn't want anything to do with me anymore.
Well, about all of that stuff I said, you see, maybe we can talk. You and I.
And what about it?
Let's start with the divorce.
Yeah? What about it?
You were right by thinking that this whole divorce was a little too early. I've been thinking over things a lot, and I think we should go back to the way things were before I brought it all up. What do you think?
Well, I'll be honest. I'm confused by all this. What do you want? Because I thought your plans to have me out of that house were all set in stone. Do you think that we can just go back to the way things were and retract the divorce?
Well, that's what I'm asking for. Do you think you can cancel the divorce?
I don't think that's possible now. And I'm wondering, why are you so interested in canceling the divorce now, after all that you said to me? Last week, you made it very clear that you didn't want to live with me because of how I am towards you and this crap about me being ugly.
Morgan, listen. Wade quit his job!
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm aware of that.
You knew about all of this!
Well, sure I did. He told me he was going to quit even before we got married. So I've known about it for a little while now. He told me he'd be leaving that glass-making company to find a job while taking care of the house. Are you saying that you're his beloved mother and didn't even know that your own son quit his job?
I had no reason to know about that. For the past 2 weeks, he hasn't gone to work at all. And so I asked him out of curiosity why he wasn't heading to work anymore. And that's when he told me he quit his job. He wanted to quit his job and stay at home. He said he wants to be a house husband.
That sounds like what he told me. He said that things at work weren't going too great between him and his coworkers. So when we got married, he'd quit that job and stay home to do all the chores and cooking for me.
And live off of just your income.
Yeah, I make more money than Wade, and I was fine with it.
Wait, you're bringing in that much money right now?
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm bringing in millions of dollars, but I'd say I make the amount he'd be making in 2 years or something like that.
You're lying.
Well, I've been working for my company for ages, it feels like. And I've been promoted so many times now that I can't even count anymore. But Wade would always change jobs as well as stay out late at night. And so that's why, to me, him becoming a stay-at-home husband was a safer bet. And it would help relieve all the weight on my shoulders of having to keep the house clean.
Well, if this was all happening, then why didn't you both let me know? If that was the case with your job, then I'd have never kicked you out of the house.
What? Excuse me?
Well, I was wrong, okay? I made a mistake in wanting you to divorce my son. I really want you to take everything back and come back to us.
You want me to take everything back? You mean I want you to take everything back? But no, Chrissy, you're too late. Whatever you say doesn't really matter.
So then that means you can go ahead and stop this nonsense divorce, right?
I told you that's not going to happen, Chrissy.
Then, at least get back together with Wade and get remarried to him.
That sounds even worse. And is impossible.
It is not, Morgan. Please think about fixing all of this for us.
I don't want to. And by the way, did you actually get them to accept the divorce paperwork at the courthouse?
What do you mean?
I'm asking if you actually got confirmation from the people there that they would go ahead and process the paperwork.
Well, it was really crowded in there, so after filling out all the paperwork, I just set it on the counter for them to grab. But I made sure that I ticked off the boxes and filled out the info on there. Why?
Well, only if it were that simple.
Wait. Are you saying that there is a chance that they didn't file the paperwork to go ahead with the divorce?
Well, it's a pretty huge possibility at this point.
Oh my gosh! Well, if that's the case, then thank goodness, right? So in other words, you guys aren't divorced yet. Well, since there's no problem now, you can grab your things and come back home.
Oh, I think there's still some issues. Wade and I have actually never formally got married yet.
What?
I'm sorry, Chrissy, but I lied to you. So there's not going to be any divorce.
What?
Yeah. He proposed and we went on a honeymoon. But that was just a romantic getaway post-engagement. We just knew you'd be pleased to hear that your son was married, so we decided to lie about it.
OMG. What do you mean? But you guys had your wedding!
Sure we did. That was fun, right? But all it was a commitment wedding. So, not a real one.
A what?
Well, technically it's called a commitment ceremony, which is a marriage ceremony where two people commit their lives to each other. But nothing is legal.
What?
Sorry. All the guests knew besides you, though, so it wasn't like we were hiding it from you.
But no one told me about it!
Well, it's not like we announced it to everyone. And that's why our wedding was an intimate one with just close friends and family.
OMG. Are you lying to me? This sounds made up.
Nope. You can ask Wade if you want.
OMG. So, what now? What does this mean? And so does that mean that you guys can't even get divorced?
As I said before, if we never got married in the first place, what's the point in them actually divorcing us? Actually, this all works out perfectly for me. I'm pretty thankful now.
Why are you so happy now?
Because, since none of this legal action was ever taken, it won't be on my permanent records. And we won't have to deal with any of the aftermath to a real divorce. I've never been so relieved in my life. I didn't even have to go through any court cases or anything for this.
But then that means you can just get married right now.
I would never do something so stupid. I never knew that Wade was this bad of a mama's boy. And how bad you are, Chrissy. So I'm really glad that I never officially got married to him.
But then, why did he decide to sign the divorce papers if you guys weren't even married to begin with? He never even finished all of the legal work.
He must have just forgotten all about that. When we went on our honeymoon together, neither of us really talked about the paperwork or anything. We just wanted to have a great time on vacation. Get it now?
But that means he's out of a job now. What are we going to do?
but at least you will still be living in that house with him, right? And I was under the impression that you are still working a full-time job, right? I was just thinking that he'd be so happy to have his mommy there to raise and support him again. And I mean, you were yet again the one that wanted me to be out of the picture, right? I'm sure that you got all prepared to care for him after I was gone, right?
I also quit my job, Morgan.
Really?
Because I thought that since Wade would still be working at his job, that it was time for me to get that early retirement started.
Oh my gosh. Well, now that I've heard all about that, I'm 100% glad that I never married Wade officially in the first place.
OMG, Morgan!
I'm over at my parents' place staying here for a little while. But since my brother and his wife are living here too, I'm planning on leaving this house and moving into my own new apartment.
Well, if you need a place to live, then please come back to us.
You wish, Chrissy.
Then what are you going to do?
Well, I just wanted to say that I'll be coming to get all of my furniture and things from there to bring to my new place. I bought all of it, so I'd like them all back now.
What? You can't do that!
Well, watch me. They're my things. I have the receipts if you want. Okay?
But if you do that, then this house will be empty. There'll be nothing for us to use to live here. And I told you that I already sold or threw out all of my old furniture.
Well, even if you say that to me now, that means nothing to me. There's nothing stopping me from having the police stop by to get it all out of your hands. Maybe you shouldn't have had your son sign those papers and get me thrown out of the family like that.
Then what is going to happen to us?
How should I know?
What's even worse now is that the living expenses for this place have to be high, right?
You have a good point. That house is new, but it has a lot of rooms, making it really hard to heat all of the rooms up in the winter without paying more for the electricity bills, huh? I thought that the three of us would be living there, so a house of that size wouldn't be a problem, but I guess not.
And do you think the two of us will be able to live here, even if we did have jobs?
I don't know. When we bought that place, Wade was still working and we were just about able to pay for the first month of fees. And actually, he has his name on the place, so he's in charge of the mortgage.
In other words, that means... OMG.
Well, you have that right, Chrissy. Since I don't have my name on the place, I don't have to pay a penny for any of the expenses.
OMG! And I'm the one who has to pay everything here! You come back here right now!
Nope. I don't think that's going to happen.
Come on! Work with me here, Morgan! You can finally get married to Wade legally and live the life you had been waiting for, right? And the two of us can start building our friendship so that life will be like a dream come true.
I will most definitely not be coming back. And I've got to go now.
Wait! Leaving the two of us like this will force us to go down a deep and dark path. We'll never be able to pay for anything, and we'll have to start living on the streets! Please help us. I'm so sorry, Morgan.
Good luck to you both. It seems that after all, Chrissy and Wade weren't able to pay for the house and were forced to leave. I, on the other hand, was fortunate enough to get all of my furniture and stuff from the house before all of that happened. Although it wasn't nice to deal with Chrissy, who kept blaming me, saying that all of this was my fault and that I'm the one that left them to become homeless. Of course, none of what she said meant a thing to me, and so I tried to ignore her and went on my way as they both sat in the empty house crying. Chrissy and Wade seem to be attached to the hip. It looks like she's finally stepped up to take care of him. Yes, to take care of a 40-something-year-old son. I heard that she's now working at a few part-time jobs from morning to night every day, trying to make enough to support them both. They recently moved into a very small apartment together where Chrissy apparently does all the chores. And since they haven't been able to afford any furniture, they're living on minimal things. She's getting pretty fed up with him now, so I wouldn't be surprised if a huge fight were to break out between them soon. There was one day when Chrissy and I met up because she had to bring me a few things which I had left behind at the house. She looked totally frail and depleted, but still had the audacity and energy to beg me for my help. But I ignored her and left. I'm going to start focusing more on myself in this cozy new apartment of mine, and maybe even pick up some new hobbies. It also looks as if I'll be getting another raise at work soon, so that'll help me a ton with going out and enjoying my life. And maybe someday, I'll go out looking for a new man. And this time, I'll make sure that he has a nice mother. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like the video and leave a comment. See you in the next one.